Pancha Kalpatarusha Kripasindave Vichapatitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, depending on the mercy of the previous acharyas coming down to us through His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we hereby take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the origin and source of all the holy places. Tirtaspada Shiva Varinchi Nutam Sharanyam. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva take shelter of Lord Chaitanya. This is the purpose of our marathon, is to carry on the work of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as passed down to us through the previous acharyas. Those who take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva are certainly successful in their practice of spiritual life. And the Sankirtan, especially through this medium of book distribution, which was conceived by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, carried to us personally, handed to us as our legacy by Srila Prabhupada, is the very essence of the Krishna consciousness movement, making individual contact with people who had no expectation of taking to spiritual life, no interest in it, but then somehow or other we sparked in them the desire to take it up by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When they see the spiritual world in these books and they hear the vibration that comes from them, they can be turned because they're tatastha shakti, they're open to suggestion. So we have a great opportunity this year. We don't know how many opportunities we're going to get in the world, but we have resources, we have energy, we're alive. That's why some of you have your cameras on and I can see you. And when we have life, we can preach. And when we preach, then we have life. Life only increases through preaching. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur set this standard. And the best preaching is to present literature, put it into the hands of millions of people, millions, tens of millions. The world is in disarray on all levels. And there is a solution, and we hold it in our hands. It's Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is the Vedic intelligence. It's everything everyone needs to know, concisely presented in 700 little verses that fit into a neat little book that anyone can carry with him or her anywhere and have the answers to all the problems in life. Everything else, all the other books in the world, all that are stuffed in bookstores and libraries and universities, are a distraction from coming to the point of human form of life. Since this is our conviction and we know this, we have an opportunity to display our faith by making pledges. Nothing happens at all unless one makes a pledge and writes it down. We're not even engaged in the Sankirtan movement until we make a pledge and write it down. Prabhupada committed everything to paper. He said, this is what we're going to do. If you look at the history, you can see it in my book. Prabhupada also put numbers on paper. He wasn't afraid to do that. This is where we get the inspiration from Lord Chaitanya, is when we actually commit. In fact, the word devotee means someone who commits. Devoto. It means you've made a pledge, you've written it down, and you said, I'm taking a stand. That's what initiation is about, and that's what this marathon is about, is making a pledge that I'm going to stand for something, and I'm going to put a number on paper. So we need commitments, and if you make a commitment, you'll get the energy. If you don't make a commitment, you'll be on the sideline watching other people get the energy. So today we have His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who will be joining us, because he is a leader's leader. He goes everywhere himself. He actually does book distribution himself. He advocates for book distribution. He's never hesitant to jump on any call where we're advocating for book distribution. That's why wherever he sits, whichever area he presides over, it expands in book distribution because he's personally committed to it. So we have that great opportunity today. In a few minutes when he arrives, we'll ask him to speak. We also have a real-life book distributor, Gopal Champu Prabhu, who will give a demonstration about a principle which is extremely important, and that is whatever you can sell one of, you can sell a bunch of. Always sell in bunches like bananas. You can increase your distribution tenfold by, instead of selling one book, sell 10. And we'll have some a short slideshow today that'll inform you about the overall goal for the marathon, for the Live to Give marathon, which goes all the way up into January 7th. And we'll see some of the continents. We're still waiting for numbers to come in, to get commitments from every country in Europe and so forth. Divyanam Prabhu is waiting for those numbers. I just got off a call half an hour ago with the Indian leaders, and you'll see their commitment, which is huge. So let's also respond in kind by stepping up and making our commitments. It means you got to get a pen. You have to have paper. You have to write it down, and you have to make it visible and say it in front of everybody. This is what we're doing. If you don't do that, you're not going to get the energy from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if you do, it'll come flowing in, and your life will be changed and the world will be changed. Pen, paper, commitment. It has to be real. Now we'd like to welcome His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, who's just joined us. And thank you very, very much, Maharaj, for coming in to enliven the devotees all over the world for the Live to Give marathon. We have a goal right now of 3 million Bhagavad Gitas, and we'll be working together under your direction to attain that. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shamahini, do we have any insider information about is His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj ready to speak now?
Prabhu, I'm going to check.
Okay, we're checking on that. As we're waiting for Maharaj to make sure he's mic'd up and everyone ready on their side. I'll just say that everything counts. If you feel that you're busy, you have things to do, make a commitment anyway, because what we've found all over the world is as soon as you make any commitment at all, even if it's 1, it should be something more than 0 and not less than 1. But as soon as you make that commitment, then you'll start to realize more and more capacity. So don't worry if you can't do everything you want to do. Don't fail to do what you can do right now. How are we doing there, Shamahini? Is Maharaj ready?
Prabhu, I just received a message on the chat that Maharaj cannot hear us. So I'm trying to troubleshoot with them.
Well, that just goes to prove the principle of Shruti, doesn't it? Everything's based on hearing. So how are all the devotees? Thank you very much for being here. It's really enlivening to see you all, wherever you may be. You see Chandrakanti, Devidasi is here, Jai Keshava, Prabhu Radha Achyuta, Jai Gauranga, Bhakta Roman, Anutama Prabhu, the great leader from the north, Malini Priti, a great warrior from Malaysia. Redmi I'm not sure if that's actually your name or just your handle. Kavita Sharma, Hare Krishna, Vishnu Rata Prabhu. Shamahini's here behind the scenes as usual, keeping everything going. Just break in anytime if you know that Maharaj can hear us. Somya Deep Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nitai Chandra Nimai Prabhu. Aksaj Shukla Prabhu. Malini Devi Dasi from ISKCON of Silicon Valley, leading every year an ever-increasing flow of book
Can you
distribution.
hear me?
Yes.
Wherever you are.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Otherwise, to Srila Prabhupada.
All that everybody very enthusiastic. Living to give.
I hope that everybody is very enthusiastic for living to give.
By giving Bhagavad Gita to people, they can understand the real purpose of life.
By giving the Bhagavad Gita to the people, they can understand the real purpose of life.
And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads.
Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads.
Bhagavad Gita is the nectar. Lord Chaitanya asks us to give out Krishna Pada.
Bhagavad Gita is the nectar. Lord Chaitanya asked us to give out Krishna Katha.
And the Gita is spoken by Krishna. It's the original Krishna Pada.
And the Gita is spoken by Krishna. It's the original Katha. Krishna Katha.
All the time it's spoken about Krishna. The Gita is spoken by Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken about Krishna, and the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna.
A lot of us thinking how the scientists they don't know that there's a life after they leave the body.
They can't hear you with that.
Yeah.
I have to
You have to go back.
switch with this mic. This is the only mic that
All right. The scientists they don't understand that there's something after leaving the body.
The scientists don't understand
So the
that.
scientists, they don't understand that there's something that leaves after we leave the body.
To read the Bhagavad Gita.
You need to read the Bhagavad Gita.
We just lost the audio. The servants of His Holiness Dr. Maharaj, we lost your audio.
Hare Krishna.
We had about 30,000 auditorium.
We had about 30,000 people in Jagannath Puri,
And during the Puri Parikrama,
and they were doing the Puri Parikrama.
there are So I started studying the Bhagavad Gita marathon.
So like that, we were starting the Bhagavad Gita marathon.
This year, Gita Jayanti Day is a bit early, 3rd of December in India.
This year, the Gita Jayanti Day is a bit early, the 3rd of December in India.
What day is it in the West?
What day is it in the West? 3rd, Guru Maharaj.
Huh?
3.
So, like this, we want the people should read Bhagavad Gita, understand the real purpose of life.
So like this, we want people to read the Bhagavad Gita and understand the real purpose of life.
Prabhupada was saying in many lectures, how if we surrender to Krishna, he will make us happy.
Srila Prabhupada was saying in many lectures how if we surrender to Krishna, he will make us happy.
But people are not surrendering to God, therefore they're not happy.
But people are not surrendering to God, and therefore they are not happy.
We're seeing how there's all over the world famines, floods, hurricanes,
We are seeing how all over the world there's famines, floods, hurricanes.
and if people read the Bhagavad Gita regularly, it says that inauspicious things are not happening to them.
It's if people would read the Bhagavad Gita regularly, then it says that inauspicious things will not happen.
The Sri Vaishnava Sar, the essence of what is that Bhagavad Gita gives one all auspiciousness.
In the Sri Vaishnav Sar, the essence is that Bhagavad Gita gives one all auspiciousness.
I was seeing a drama in Chennai performed by children.
I was seeing a drama in Chennai performed by children.
The two are playing Yamadutas and one was playing Yamaraj.
There were two playing Yamadutas and one was playing Yamaraj.
And the Yamadutas are complaining that these Hare Krishna devotees, they read Bhagavad Gita.
And the Yamadutas, they were complaining that these Hare Krishnas, they read the Bhagavad Gita.
They chant Hare Krishna.
They chant Hare
They
Krishna.
worship the deities in the house.
They worship the deities in their house.
And like this, we can't take them to hell.
And like this, we can't take them to hell.
If everybody becomes like this, we'll be out of a job.
If everyone becomes like this, then we will be out of our job.
I asked people who want to give the Yamadutas a vacation.
So I asked people who would like to give the Yamadutas a vacation.
And everybody wanted to give them a vacation.
Then everybody wanted to give them a vacation.
No one wanted to go with them.
Nobody wanted to go with them.
So we should have everybody to shoot Bhagavad Gita and give the Yamadutas a vacation.
So we should have everybody distribute Bhagavad Gita and give the Yamadutas a vacation.
Haribol.
Hari Bol.
This Bhagavad Gita marathon is not only for the brahmacharis, but all the Grihastas, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, they can also participate.
So this marathon is not only for the brahmacharis, but for all the Grihastas, the Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavis, they can also participate.
We saw that in Mayapur, we're having temple filled with people.
So we saw that in Mayapur, we're having the temple filled with people.
And some of the devotees are going out in Malaysia and other places.
Some of the devotees are going out in Malaysia and other places.
We should all live to give.
We should all live to give.
give Bhagavad Gita to everyone.
Give Bhagavad Gita to everyone.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Here we have many my brahmacharis are going on marathon tomorrow.
Here we have many in Mayapur, many brahmacharis are going out on the marathon tomorrow.
And we have some of the grihastas, the ladies, are also helping.
And we have some of the grihastas, the ladies, they're also helping.
So I want everyone to participate in this marathon.
So we want everyone to participate in this marathon.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
What do you suggest?
What do you suggest?
Maharaj, we'd like to show you the maps we have so far.
All right.
All right.
They're not complete yet because we're still getting pledges coming in. Before you came on, I was emphasizing how until an individual or a community led by an individual makes a pledge and writes it down, then the energy doesn't come. So we're engaged in going to from continent to continent to get each one to give their pledge towards the ultimate goal. But I'll show you the maps and the branding for this year's Live to Give. And just in a second, we'll bring it up on the screen. So this is Live to Give 2022, obviously. And the marathon goes from September 11th to January 7th. January 7th is the last day. We can get all the numbers in and be able to count them globally. You'll notice down there, PrabhupadaMarathon.com is a place where anyone can go to get resources. We're collecting up the best practices from various devotees around the world and listing them there, as well as resources. So please take advantage of that.
So everyone should see the website.
So everyone should see the website.
And Maharaj, this just shows the year to year for the last couple of years from 2020, 2021, that each year we're getting an increase in the distribution of Bhagavad Gita by measuring, and also by each continent, each center increasing capacity by adopting best practices. 2.1 in 2020, 2.8 for 2021. This is what it looked like for 2021, total 2,805,444. And you can see the various continents and what they ended up distributing. 55 countries, 250 plus communities. So we're always looking to increase the numbers of communities and countries that are involved, because that's one of our strengths, is to have a wider based participation. Our goal for this year is 3 million Bhagavad Gitas. We're expecting to smash this goal, but it's the next level to shoot for is 3 million. And devotees have taken this to heart around the world.
Very good.
Jai. Okay, so map by map. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're still waiting for pledges to come in. For instance, in Europe, it takes a while to ratify each center's pledge. So Divyanam Prabhu is overseeing that. And so far, there is just a smattering of pledges. We hope by next week, we've been assured that we'll have the complete list of pledges from Europe. India, I just got off a call this morning, about an hour and a half ago, with Praneshwar Prabhu and other members of the ICC, and they have verified, India, I repeat, has verified that they have pledged 2,700,000 copies of Bhagavad Gita to be distributed. They also announced this morning that they're launching an app by which devotees can track in real time how everyone's doing and also report their scores as they distribute books rather than waiting till the end of the month. Making great progress in India, and they're very confident about this goal, 2,700,000. We just got that this morning. All glories to all the devotees in India under their stalwart leadership. Next, we can see North America. We're still calculating pledges and getting them to come in. So far, a paltry 124,000, paltry in my opinion. We need more pledges from North America. We'll be calling everyone individually to get an idea of what they're doing. Shamahini had just posted in the chat box. She said, make a pledge and watch the magic happen. And there's a form there that you can fill out when you click on that link to make your pledge. Make life exciting, make a pledge. Unless you write it down and commit to it, there's no energy. Take a risk. Prabhupada took a risk. Everyone who takes a risk for Lord Chaitanya makes advancement in devotional service. This is a good place to do it. Australia, we're still waiting. But there's the palette. New Zealand, we're still waiting. Fiji, waiting. Africa, waiting. Far East, waiting. South America, waiting. Om Tat Sat. So Maharaj, we're simply working under your shelter and praying for your merciful glance to empower us to expand past. We would like to smash the 3 million mark, which looks very possible, especially because India pledged 2.7. Everyone can make a stretch goal and try to rise up and meet it. Prabhupada said that's the way to stay enlivened. Please go ahead, Maharaj. Any blessing or observation you'd like to impart upon us?
All my blessings for the devotees who are participating in Prabhupada Marathon.
Just to reiterate, Maharaj just said, if you participate in the Prabhupada Marathon, the blessings are implicit. They come along with it. I think we've lost audio for Maharaj. Is that right, Shamahini?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So we're deeply grateful for His Holiness Jaipataka Maharaj and his associates to have joined us today to give this special blessing. And we've also just gotten word that His Grace Bhima Prabhu has joined the call. And so if we could get a blessing or two from you, Bhima Prabhu, we'd deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, I take blessings. I don't give them out. They say in Hindi, "Hum lene wala hai, dene wala nahi hai." But I found this really, really wonderful quote from Srila Prabhupada. Can I share it?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
The Supreme Lord, who is greater than the greatest, becomes very submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. It is the beautiful and exalted nature of devotional service that the infinite Lord becomes submissive to the infinitesimal living entity because of it. In reciprocal devotional activities with the Lord, the devotee actually enjoys the transcendental mellow of devotional service. So I was just thinking how exemplified that is when the devotees go out and do book distribution. The Lord, for this person that you're giving to the book to, you're establishing their devotional service. You're fortifying your own devotional service. So that's why Prabhupada has given us this activity, because it's the very essence of establishing a relationship with Krishna. So it's such an important thing. You as Vaisheshika Prabhu many times has said, get off the Kanisa platform, come to the Madhyam platform. This is the way to do it. And it pleases the Lord so much. He's great. Nobody's greater. And we're infinitesimal, small, but yet he's happy with us. He becomes indebted to us just by a little bit of devotional service. So the marathon, it's not just about numbers. It's not just about, it's about establishing this sambandha with Krishna through this very, very high level of devotional service called bhakti. I just want to share that with you, and I thank Vaisheshika Prabhu for organizing this. Let me say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I'm
Bhima
over.
Prabhu.
Did I lose everybody?
No, we can hear you. We would like to thank you for bestowing your abundant blessings upon us today.
Well, it's all.
Now we lost you. Okay, well, we thank Bhima Prabhu. He exemplifies the Sankirtan movement. He helped bring the wave of book distribution to India such that it is now coming from America. He brought his enthusiasm, innovations, and continues to be a beacon and an advocate for book distribution that affects devotees all over India and the world. Thank you very much for always being there for us.
Can I make a small announcement?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
The only airport that's left open in the United States is St. Louis. And because the St. Louis airport got the blessings of years and years of service from Vaisheshika Prabhu. And I just want to let everybody know, Gargamuni's still working it, but there's one empty spot. If you're real lucky, maybe you want to do the marathon over there. Hare Krishna.
Haribo. St.
Haribo.
Louis, Lambert Field Ki Jai. Thanks,
Krishna
Bhima Prabhu.
Ram Ki Jai.
Jai. Great to see you. Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
All glories to Prabhupada. Okay, now we have Gopal Champu Prabhu. He's a real life person, a book distributor. He's in New York City. He's not playing games, put the toys up on the shelf years ago. And he's ready to give us a little tutorial. It's very practical about distributing books. Make sure to write this down, take detailed notes, because one idea from this will dramatically increase your book distribution. Over to you, Gopal Champu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Om Agyanatamirandasya Karanjana Salakaya Chachurur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyo Vacha Plitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Mukham Karoti Vachanam Pangulanga Hitigim Yakripatam Hamande Shri Guru Dhyata. Before I say anything, I'd just like to offer my obeisances to all the devotees here on the call, and unto His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu for allowing me to come and share some things with you today. So I'd like to open it up with just a few quotes from Prabhupada's purports in the Bhagavad Gita. which gives us complete authorization for doing what we're doing in this Prabhupada marathon. First, in the 3rd chapter, text 29, Prabhupada says in the final purport, in the final paragraph, says, men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. And then the 18th chapter, text number 68, where Krishna states that there's no one more dear to him than the person, the devotee who shares his knowledge. He says, Bhagavad Gita, what Prabhupada says in the purport, Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. It is subject matter for the devotees only, not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. So there's Live to Give Marathon. Also by us giving, the Prabhupada is making the assurance that we'll also go back home, back to Godhead through this medium. So we all know the 4 laws of book distribution. Strong sadhana, get books, the more you show, the more you sell, and you must organize. Now, in this realm of set distribution or stacks distribution, I like to offer a couple more that we can think about. One is packaging. As far as packaging, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can see here, there's a ribbon tied in this set of books, and ribbons can be gotten, you can get all different types of ribbons, colorful ones that attract people. There's also, like ISV does, you can package them in little gift packs. And this will give you, it'll give people an opportunity to see a whole set of books together. And to them, they'll just think, oh, it all comes together. It's meant to be. It's kind of like gift packs during the holiday season. You can walk into any any well-known department store, and they have, let's say the shaving pack. They'll have the shaving cream, the razor, the soap, the aftershave, and it all comes together as one pack. Now, you could buy those things individually, but here they're presenting a package to you. So similarly, we can take a note of that. The next thing would be that we can give these sets nice names. So just a few of the sets that we've come up with in the lab, like the Bhakti stack, the Saptarishi, which when we present to people, we say this is the 7 sages. We also have this pack I've been calling the Mind, Body, and Soul collection, which is the Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita, and Higher Taste. I know also ISV calls this the Trimurti set, so you can be creative. Something for your own team to kind of have some rally around. And then when you present the pack, people also see they're getting something very special. Like, yes, here, have you seen the Bhakti stack? No, what's that? And then you can kind of present that to them, let them know what they're getting. Now, the next thing is we have to distribute the sets. So whether it's door to door on the street, there has to be an icebreaker. But before that, there's 3 things that all people want to know as soon as you approach them. The first thing is they want to know who you are. They're naturally going to think that. Who are you? So you can introduce yourself. I'm such and such. When you go door to door, I'm such and such from the local temple, or you're on the street. My name is such and such from such a place. Next thing people want to know is what you have for them. So we're showing these books on yoga, meditation, etc. Third thing they want to know is what will it do for them? What is the benefit? So it's good to have these things kind of pre-rehearsed in one's presentation. That way you kind of make it quick, because usually it's a split second decision people are going to make, whether they want to keep listening to you, whether what you have is actually valuable to them. So if you're able to kind of get all this information out to them right in the first few moments of the interaction, then that'll lead to great success in the goal of distributing the set. So, for example, some icebreakers that can be used, like when we walk on the street, usually one thing I'll do is I'll say, hey, we're stopping all the nice people today. And people think, oh, hey, he thinks I'm a nice guy. Hey, I think you're a nice guy too. So that's one thing. The next thing is, like His Grace Vaisheshwar Prabhu says, people walking around with a sign on their chest. We can imagine that people walking around with a sign on their chest saying, make me feel good. So we can genuinely scan someone when we see them, look for something we actually appreciate that they have, maybe a shirt, their shoes, a bracelet, a hat, something that we notice. Because people, when they're getting dressed in the morning, what they're putting on, it's an expression of their own self. So if we take notice of these things and we appreciate them, then they'll be open to hearing what we have to say. And then the third thing is that I like to do, this is something I've kind of gotten in a habit. I've had a knack for noticing people and connecting with some famous person. Kind of, so like to say, I'll see some African-American man and I'll tell him, hey, you look like Denzel Washington. They'll be like, me? Oh man, thank you. That's so nice to you. Something like that. Some famous actress, some famous model, famous singer. And people are usually flattered by these things. And that's again, just a way to break the ice and make a connection, and they're willing to listen to you and speak to you and see what you have to say. Now, the next part is, of course, one of the most, not the most difficult, but sometimes the one that people have devotees may have some hang up with, is asking for a donation. And especially with sets, of course, there's sometimes a little more involved, especially depending how big the sets. I mean, the sets can range from, 3 books to 7 books to however many books you want to put in there. This particular set, and just going back to when we do have the books, it's good to when we pre-rehearse to have just like a 1-line description of each book. It's something that's quick to the point. So, for example, for this set, I would say, I would point to the Bhagavad Gita, and I would tell them this teaches us how we can live a spiritual life in the material world. In the science of self-realization, this teaches us that when we meditate, we open up the secrets of the self within, nature, and the universe. And then the higher taste, I'll show them this, is a guide to gourmet vegetarian cooking and a karma-free diet. And it explains that when we eat, we don't just nourish ourselves physically, but also mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Something like that, quick, simple, to the point. And I particularly like the higher taste, especially in the holiday season, because usually the holidays revolve around a lot of eating. So people will be, they're usually open to receive cookbooks and different things like that. So then asking for the donation, I like to build value in the package. So when we're showing them multiple books at one time, we can build value in it. What I usually say is we don't sell these books like in a bookstore, but if you notice here, and all the BBT books will have the BBT logo either on the side binding or somewhere on the back for some of the India books. You can show them the BBT logo. You can say, but we're a part of this. This is the book trust that we're a part of. And so they give us the books and they ask us to cover the printing costs. But if I was to ask you, now you put the ball in their court. If I was to ask you, how much do you think they would charge for each book in a bookstore? And then you just kind of wait. And they'll start calculating in their mind. And they may throw out a number like, it'll be at least $10 a book. You say, yeah, it'll be like $30 for this set. But because we're a part of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, we're just asking for $10 to cover the set. And then at that point, you've built value. You've told them what benefits the books will do for them. You've complimented them. They're practically your best friend now. So for them to hand over $10, it's like something so insignificant. And then even with bigger sets, something like the Saptarishi, like we were mentioning, they might say for hardcover books, $30 a book, that would be $200 for the set in a bookstore. But then we can say, no, it's just $10 a book, 70 for the set. So, and that way they'll be very much inclined to take a set. So you can try these things. They've worked for us, and I know they'll work for you as well. So thank you all for your kind attention. And I pray to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Radha Govinda, that they empower each and every one of you who are dedicating your lives to the Sankirtan movement. And if you can please also do the same for me and shower a little mercy on New York here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Gopal Champu Prabhu. This is where the rubber meets the road. These Sankirtan lines come from the genius of those who are sincerely trying to distribute Prabhupada's books. And it's perfectly legal to plagiarize. Just take the lines as they are and use them yourself. Write them down. We'll also represent all of what Gopal Champu Prabhu just said and put it out for everybody as a resource. And just use it. Try turning your brain off and just say what others say when they're selling books and see what happens. And don't get in the middle of it. Just be an instrument to pass on. These things come through parampara. So we're having various successes around the world from different devotees, and we want to hear now from Malini in ISV. Please give us 3 top tips that you're seeing as important for organizing Sankirtan parties. Or whatever else you'd like to tell us. You may have some thoughts and you want to pass them on. What do you think are the most important points to help devotees to expand their book distribution?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, always Sri Prabhupada. Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Prabhu. So one of the things that we tried here at ISV just yesterday was to increase the involvement of youth in book distribution. So we organized a Sankirtan party yesterday, just led by youth. And it was a great success because we had His Grace Vaisheshik Prabhu join them. And Prabhu went into 2 different teams and worked the spots like about 1 hour each. And the best part was that not only the youth took the responsibility of going out on books, but they said that why we have not been doing this more often. So they said that they want to go out more often. And when the youth, one of the youth was mentioning that when they were distributing books, a lot of people were just standing there, maybe not taking books, but they were just watching how the youth was involved in doing some community benefit service like this. So we thought that that was actually a very nice realization from the youth that whatever they do gets magnified, and it is being observed by everybody around the world. So that was one important point, and we thought of doing this more often to involve the youth here. And then we also had a planning meeting last week with all the devotees here. And then we made a list of all the places that we can go out for the marathon in the next 5 or 6 weeks. And we took our goal and we divided it by the weeks, saying that every week, how many books we need to do so that we could meet our goal. So it was about 1,500 the Trimurti sets that Gopal Champu Prabhu was talking about to me, to at least to do that much. So we just made these plans, and the list of spots that we made help devotees to think outside the box, to see not about the regular spots. So we made a list of Walmarts that we can cover, list of farmers markets around the area, and in this way we came up with a list of all the places that we can go out for marathon. And we're just brainstorming and trying to see how we can contribute towards at least 3 million goal here from ISV. Prabhu, that's all for now.
Thank you very much, Malini. A couple more points I'd like to make. Yesterday, I went to a couple of places. One of them was a Vietnamese mall. It was in a place here near San Francisco called Little Saigon. I like ethnic areas personally. And in order to be successful wherever we go, where we know people speak a second language, we bring these little cards. They're called language cards. You can download these on distributebooks.com. You'll find all the different languages. I recommend downloading them and having them laminated and put on a little ring. So I used these yesterday. Here's the Vietnamese presentation. We had huge boxes of Vietnamese books that we took out there. They were gone within an hour. We had to call in an airstrike and bring in more books from the temple to load it back up again, because it's so effective when you use language cards. Actually, it's more effective when you don't speak somebody's language and you just hand them the book and show them the card. Nothing else involved. It's binary. It's either on or off. They know what you're saying. And so it was very sweet. And also, when we went next to an apartment complex, there were a lot of Indian people there. And a couple of pieces of advice in case you're talking to Indians when you go out on book distribution. That is, I never hand them a book, ever. Because as soon as I start handing over a Bhagavad Gita or any other book to an Indian, they feel like they feel guilty, because they think that I'm saying, oh, you should be reading Bhagavad Gita. And what they start to think is, oh yeah, I should be reading Bhagavad Gita. So instead of handing them everything, I say, look, they see the Gita. I said, this is not for you. You already know this. And your mom knows it and your grandmother memorized it. This is not for you. I emphasize that. And then I tell them, here, we're printing the Bhagavad Gita in all these languages, and we're starting schools around the world. And I show them the language cards. And I say, today's a fundraiser. We're going around and everyone's just giving a little something. And I tell them we're doing Madhukari. And I explain what that means, that every house, every apartment is like a little flower. And we just take a little bit of nectar from each house. That's it, just a tiny bit, so it doesn't disturb the flower or the residents within. And it's just for donation. They're always happy to give. And then after that, I say, can we give you some gifts? And they say, sure. Then we start giving them Bhagavad Gitas and all the other books. So that's another way that's been really successful. And now I have a couple of slides I'm going to show for a few more points that may help you in your individual distribution or in the community. One is to reiterate the point that Gopal Champu just made, and that is always sell in bunches like bananas. Everyone, please say that. Always sell in bunches like bananas. Say it one more time. Always sell in bunches like bananas. If you could sell one book, you can sell 3, you can sell 10, you can sell 300. Try to sell 300 books, not just one at one time. You'll be surprised if you meet somebody and you say, yes, why don't you take 300 of these rather than just taking one? You'll see that many people will go for it. So try to bunch everything together like bananas and sell it all at once. Even if it's the same book, they can distribute them to other people or put a variety of books together, but bunch them together, tie them together. Next. Fundraising in your community. Devotees have a problem, and that is that they got huge stacks of cash and they don't know what to do with it. They just want to figure out a place where they can invest their money. And money burns a hole in your pocket if you let it sit around. So if you fundraise at this time of year, especially for Gita Jayanti month, it's not Gita Jayanti Day, it's Gita Jayanti month. You have got a whole month to fundraise. Have a goal. And then put together some packages of gifts that you can give to those to whom you're asking for donations. We call them sacred intangibles. As an example, this year while I was in Govardhan, I got some really beautiful Tulsi necklaces. And I took them around to every single kund in Govardhan, and I bathed them in all the kunds. And any sadhu that I met, I asked the sadhu to put their hands on the beads and give a blessing to anybody who wear them. And I put it all on a videotape. So now when we have a fundraiser, if you have these return gifts, it can be something very simple, but a sacred intangible. That means that you can't put a price on it materially. It's inestimably valuable. And you offer those in return for donations for the Gita Marathon. Your congregation will come forward and you'll raise huge amounts of money. Advocate. The more you talk about it at your center, at your community and your family, and you make the goal visible, the more people will go for it. Next. We have little packages where people can give more and more Lakshmi. They can be called different things. And we can have different gift packages that go back to people. If you organize this ahead of time, you'll be very successful in your fundraising. Next. Yeah, part of advocacy is making it visible. There's cards, there's electronic media and so forth. And if you make a beautiful presentation and show it and remind people this is what we're going for, then it will give them an easy target. Here's the next item that's really important for your marathon is inventory management. Take inventory of your stock. Find out what you have. Place your orders from the BBT strategically and early. Keep active track of inventory and distribute your inventory and take standing orders. If it turns out you're a little short, don't stop distributing. You can distribute books by promising people you'll deliver them later. Just assume the sale, take the payment, and then deliver the books later. They did it in France last year, and it was very successful, even though they didn't have Bhagavatam. So you can do that with any book. Never stop. Never say that we can't do it. And also take really good care of your inventory and try to have all the books that you need on time. That's one of the key ways to be successful in distributing books. A reminder, we call World Gita Day on December 3rd. It's Gita Jayanti, but it's just an excuse for us to distribute more Bhagavad Gitas. So because it's early, you can mention to people that it's not just on that day, but the whole month where they get credit for distributing more Bhagavad Gitas or donating for them. Extend the time period over the whole month and just advocate for Bhagavad Gita throughout the whole month, or even starting now and all the way to January 7th. Because we're always just looking for an excuse to help engage people more in devotional service. We're not particular about dates. Exactly. It's more about having a point in time to motivate people to get involved and take the Bhagavad Gita. That's the sound of people who didn't get a Bhagavad Gita. You can know that that's how they feel. They'll be crying like that and feeling that, why didn't you come to my house? So we should be merciful. I'll just tell a story from yesterday. I was out with the youth. Every shop we went to practically took a book. They were very happy to take it. Then I got to this little cafe in the mall. It was an outdoor cafe. People sitting around wasting their lives, drinking coffee, tea, and just reading newspapers. And I went to about 4 little tables showing people the books. And nobody would take. All of a sudden I hit a dry spell. That happens. You know, you're going, everyone's taking, and then all of a sudden they don't take, right? No problem. We just keep going. So I did that, and it was time for me to leave and go to the next spot. So I was walking away, catching my ride to the next spot so I could be with another group of devotees. And one of the young devotees ran up to me and said, guess what happened? While you were going around showing and people were rejecting, somebody over in the cafe was watching and became sympathetic. They didn't even know what you were doing, but they called me over and they said, I'd like to donate to whatever you're doing. And they gave a donation. So never think that whatever you're doing is not successful. Even if you think somebody's not taking, it's registering. There's somebody watching, something's happening. Book distribution is all auspicious. Just the fact that you're going down the street, if people see the book, they'll get this special image of Krishna in their mind. And it's all blissful, all successful. So there is no better sadhana than taking a risk for Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is automatic. When you take shelter of his lotus feet by taking shelter of his movement and trying to advocate for it, you get counted. You get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet automatically. So here's the best sadhana. Take a risk. Write down a number and get the energy flowing in your mind, in your family, in your community. Write it down, make it visible, take that risk. Next, go out into the great unknown. You're getting ready and your mind is saying, oh, don't go out. Let other people go out. They'll skip it this time. Don't skip it. When you actually walk past the threshold of your door of your house and you go out into the great unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. You're thinking, oh, I might get rejected. Who cares? We face this and we just go out and do it anyway. And when you do that, that's when the mercy pours in, not before. Otherwise, you stay on the fringe of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. If you want the full thing, take the full risk. More risk, more mercy. It's a simple formula. And we get that with book distribution. We can make any risk we want. Nobody can stop us if we decide we're going to do it. Just like if you decide you're going to take a bath in the confluence of the Ganges, Jamuna and Saraswati during the month of Magh when it's freezing cold and it's foggy outside, and you say, I'm going, and everyone says you're crazy. You say, I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. So same thing. Your mind may say you're crazy. People in general might say you're crazy, but Prabhupada doesn't say you're crazy. He did it himself. Lord Chaitanya doesn't think you're crazy. He thinks everybody else is crazy. So be crazy for Lord Chaitanya. Really, we only have a short amount of time. Now's the time to pull out the stops. We have these marathons just so we can express our devotion. And there's no better way than just being a hero and going out and trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita to as many people as possible and sell them in bunches like bananas. If you can sell one, you can sell 300 at a time. Be outrageous. Ask for huge donations. Ask people to take 300 or 3,000 rather than just one, and see what happens. Lord Chaitanya fulfilled Srila Prabhupada's desires beyond what he could have expected. He'll fulfill ours as well. Shamahini, what else are we missing? Tell us any information people should know.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. We have these marathons just so we can express our devotion. That was really nice indeed. I posted the link for the pledge form. The biggest thing that we need everybody to do at this point is to send in your pledges. I'm going to post the link again. All the updates, all the resources that we've shared of the different things, the language cards, the presentations, materials to help you prepare for your fundraising drive are all available on this link that I've posted in the end. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. We pray everyone sends their pledges. This is the most practical point. It's where the rubber meets the road. Write it down, send it in. No matter how sentimentally involved you are, it doesn't count unless you write it in your pledge. That's what we want. Please. So let's make a prayer and we'll go out fearlessly together into the great unknown and see if we can't smash some goals and come closer to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, Shri Shri Lakshmana Shringadev, all the great acharyas, if you so desire, please empower our global team so that we can smash our goal of 3 million Bhagavad Gitas. Please let us individually rise to a new level in our devotional practices and also fearlessly go out to distribute Bhagavad Gita in huge bunches like bananas. Please give us the intelligence to inspire others. And please protect all the devotees from Maya. Thank you for considering our request. Everyone who agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Krishna, Kripa
Haribo.
Sindhu, Patitanam Bhavani.
Gauranga.
Nanta Kodi Vaishnavini ki jai. Go Premanande Haribo.
Haribo.
Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Haribo.